other day I had cause to drive the Volkswagen in the pouring rain, and problem is that the windshield wiper got stripped, and so I was taking it off to look and see what the problem is. What I ended up doing was they were fighting with each other. It was like a sword fight, and eventually this one failed. So this is the one who gave up the ghost. What happened is the inside portion of this wiper has become stripped out, and it now has a groove in there, and it can't be tightened up anymore. What's more, the aluminum from that piece has deposited itself in the teeth on this little stud here. So we're going to have to do a little bit of maintenance on this and get a new wiper. You know, buying new parts is not a problem. You just take them apart and you put them back on. But in this case, we're going to have to do some additional maintenance to get those teeth to a point where they can accept the new part. The other problem is the windshield wipers themselves are running kind of slow. So I thought I would go ahead and give the mechanism some love. Tear down the mechanism, do a little lubrication, see if we can get the windshield wipers wiping a little bit better than they were. Just so we could do a little comparison, here's the before. You get an idea of how slow it is. I mean, if you're in a driving rain, that would probably not be good enough to wipe the windshield. So this is the before, and we'll record it again and capture how much we improve. All right, first thing is we need to get these arms off. It's just a single 10mm bolt. Now you may have a different size bolt on here. There are some decorative bolts that they sell, but you just need to take this one little nut off here, and that'll come off the stud. These will come straight up. All right, so once you get those studs off, you take off these little caps, and it'll reveal some more little nuts. There's these on each stud. There's one of these, and then underneath there'll be one more right here in the middle somewhere. We're going to go ahead and take this plate off and reveal the underdash components that make up the mechanism for the windshield wipers. All right, so with that plate off, you can see the mechanism in its own. Just a couple of arms connected to a little structure there, going up here to this arm right here. There is a little vent diverter here, and we may have to wrangle it around this little rubber hose, which, you know, it's getting kind of old. I don't know if I want to disconnect it because it may crack. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this bolt, take out the other two bolts, and we'll see if we can wrangle this thing past all this other obstacles. And then we'll disconnect the wires and give this a once over, a good servicing. All right, so let me catch you up with where I'm at. I've got all three of the screws off, both the posts and this center screw that allows this mechanism to slide down. But I did need to move this little vent fan a bit, and there was a rubber bushing, or this little rubber boot, and made some room here. What we're trying to do here is I want to get access to the gearing in this little area so I can put some fresh grease in there. All of these little joints, these are easily lubricated. Just a little bit of oil would make that work. But I think where the biggest resistance is in the gearing on this box right here. There is a couple of screws here. I can pull this off, the engine part off, and see if we can gain access to the gearing from the backside. There is also a screw right here. I don't know if that's for access or if it's for tuning. The problem is the wires. The wires on this unit are soldered in place. They don't have connectors. And if you're looking at where the wires go, they go straight back into the firewall, and there's not an easy way of gaining access on the other side. So I think we're kind of stuck here. I don't know if I want to pull this plate off. I don't know. I'm going to take a little bit of time and reevaluate my situation and see what I need to do. There is some other maintenance that needs to happen. You can see the bottom here. Basically, this is a vent. This little plate right here keeps the water from falling on the mechanism. But on the bottom, down over here, there's a little exit point where the vent is supposed to go out, and you can see that's kind of clogged with some debris. So we're going to clean that up. Going to get all the debris and rust out of here, and so it's some maintenance that needs to happen anyway. But I just wanted to catch you up on where I was with this, and just kind of figure out how I'm going to get some lubrication into that gearing system. All right, so this bottom plate turns out has a couple screws. There's 4 of them all together. And removing those screws will gain access to this gearing mechanism in here. All we want to do is put a little grease on that worm gear right there. You can see there's just a little bit of lubricant on that disc. I'm not going to mess with that because there are some electrical components that are connected to that, and I don't want to hinder their ability to turn things on and off. But I am going to put just a touch of grease on that worm gear right there. We'll get it all back together again and see if that improves it all. Boy, a lot of crud came out of that little hole right there. Got everything all back together. We're starting to do the reassembly. I'm going to clean all this debris out of here and run it with a wire brush. And I'll probably spray it down with some WD just to get so that that it'll turn off that current rust that I can see. It'll minimize it anyway. All right, moving on. All right, got it all back together. Before I put the lid back on, I wanted to see the mechanism doing its thing. You see, I put a little bit of oil on these joints. There's a joint right there between the two of them. It's got some oil on it. And we got some fresh grease down in that gearbox. Certainly sounds like it's moving a little bit faster. Let's get some wipers on there and see if it can handle a load. All right, so before we put these new heads back on, you need to make sure that you clean these grooves out. There might be some paint or old aluminum from the previous heads in there. You just want to clean that out so you can get a good bite on the new heads. The new heads don't have teeth. They're just a flat surface. And when you tighten it down, they're intended to indent into that softer aluminum. This is a steel. It's supposed to be a planned failure point. But before you tighten them up, make sure you put the blades on. You don't have the blades on yet, so that you can get it in the right direction. You have to kind of plan it. So we're just going to set them in real quick and get the nuts in place, and then we'll adjust it. Although it also helps to compare one part against the other to make sure that they're the right size. My goodness. Well, I'm going to have to order some new ones. These have to go back. Well, there we go. At a high speed, as high as it goes, I guess. Let's compare that to the previous. Okay, well that's that task complete. Hopefully when I get the second one in, it'll fit just fine and everything will be good. But that's all I can cover for today. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I always try to answer my comments as promptly as I can. So that's all I have. Cheers.